Whoops. And there I go. I am now floating off into space. uh, there we go. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Galactic Grid. So, this is actually going to be the first video for the Galactic Grid, and I thought it fitting that we started our video with something freaking awesome. So, first thing I want to do is I want to introduce the Galactic Grid. So, if you're new to this channel, welcome. The Galactic Grid is going to be my brand new personal channel for those who are coming over from King's Cube, focusing entirely on sci-fi video games with lots of space building games and stuff like that. We are in Starship Evo, one of the, personally, my favorite space building game as it is right now. The game's got so much potential, I can't even explain it. I get like freaking jittery whenever I try to explain how much potential this game has. And we're going to talk more about it in a few minutes, but this game just got so much freaking cooler. Anyway, a lot of the different games we're going to be going over, we're going to be talking about Starmade. We're going to be doing Starmade videos too. Starmade might be really old and kind of outdated, and it's not really going anywhere, but it's still fun, so we'll still do some videos in there. I've still got some ships that I want to still work on in that game. But then we've also got Empyreon. Empyreon's come a long way, and I really like playing that game. It's really fun. I got some friends that play it too that we'll do some videos together and stuff like that, which will be fun. And then also I want to try to catch up on Space Engineers. Space Engineers has got some interesting new updates that just came out. I kind of want to try to do some of that. Yeah, and then there's a bunch of other new space building games that are coming out that I want to try to do some videos on there. And I also just recently purchased Star Citizen, so you get to watch me fumble around in Star Citizen and hope that my computer doesn't crash while I try to record and play at the same time. So anyway, so but we're going to be doing that, and also I'm going to have a dedicated section to Star Trek video games because I love Star Trek. Anyway, so now without further ado, we're going to get into this video with Starship Evo. So now you've probably noticed I'm sitting on a very large structure, and my character is a lion as usual. Well, as a cat person. My character's always been a cat person, so don't worry about it. Don't judge. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and turn the UI back on. We are on a very large ship. Yeah, I'm gonna get the gravity going here again. Come on. There we go. This ship is really big. I never showed this ship off. It's in King's Cube. I built this ship in Starmade. I know this is in Starship Evo. I built this ship in Starmade. So what you're thinking to yourself, oh hey, how did he do that? Well, I'll tell you, something new just came out. I want to say a week ago or something like that. I don't know exactly when it first came out, but somebody by the name of Nuclear Lemons on the Discord, in the Starship Evo Discord, has produced some magic and created what he's referring to as Evo Edit. And Evo Edit is an awful lot like, for those who coming over from Starmade know, is a lot like Starmade Edit, or Edit, as people called it. SM Edit. StarMade Edit. And this program allows you to take smedits from StarMade and import them, or not import, convert them over to Starship Evo blueprints. So you can take any ship that you've built and transfer them over. I personally would recommend you use a ship that you haven't already detailed and built a lot of detail in, because the converter can only convert over basic blocks. So if you've got a wireframe ship, like a ship that's just in the wireframe state, or is just a straight hull or something like that, then it'll transfer over perfectly, especially if you haven't even wedged it yet. That's even better. But it will transfer absolutely perfectly. And if you have it optimized, it'll even do all the stretching blocks and everything, so it'll be even easier. But the really cool part about this program, and the really cool part about this program is you can scale the blocks in the editor. So you can take a ship that originally was only 1 meter block scale from StarMade, and you can scale up the blocks. Like, for instance, this ship was only, and I think if I remember correctly, it was only around 800 meters. This ship, whoops, and I need to actually select it first. This ship, after importing it in, is, and I only used the 8 meter blocks, the 8 meter size blocks. I did not use the 32 meter blocks. If I use the 32 meter blocks, I can't even imagine how big this ship would be. But this ship is 64,000 meters. So this thing is 6 kilometers long. This thing is almost the same length of an actual Superstar Destroyer. So it's insane. It's insane. And recently, they just, well, not just recently, but recently, they added a feature to the game allowing you to put gravity, a universal gravity, across an entire ship without having to put down a gravity block every like 16 blocks, which for a ship like this would have been ridiculous. I don't think I'd ever been able to get gravity universal across the whole thing. But because we have gravity universal across the entire thing, we can go down here. And this is the funnest part about this. I'm absolutely just overjoyed by this. I'm so excited. Notice we have a hovercraft down here. Probably can pretty much guess what's about to happen. You can get in your hovercraft, turn it on, and you can drive and fly a hovercraft on your ship. It's so cool. It's so cool. And it works so well too. So you can literally build racing tracks and stuff like that. Like, you can actually have like a pod racing track, and it works so well too. It's insane how well this works. I'm driving around on a ship. I'm driving and crashing around on a ship that I built in StarMade, that I scaled up in an editor, and am now, whoops, And there I go. I am now floating off into space. There we go. Oh well. As you can see, this thing absolutely dwarfs what I'm working on over here. Like, spoiler alert, I'm working on the protostar from Star Trek Prodigy, and it's actually starting to look pretty good too. I got getting the bridge all worked out. I don't know how I'm going to do the glass, but it's going to be interesting. But the saucer's coming along pretty nice. And then I've got a little small docking platform over here where I have the slave one is glitching, and don't worry about that. And then I had started building the saucer for the original Enterprise. I was gonna do that, and then I kind of got lazy and didn't do it anymore. And then I've got a ship over here I'm gonna be doing a review for later. So look forward to that video, guys. But this monstrosity is definitely going to be a thing. It's gonna be huge. You just look at the size of these hangars. These are hangars, and I mean, yes, I'm moving very quickly, but I'm moving at 64 meters a second. So if I go down to 1 meter a second, and then we'll go out here, you can see how freaking huge this hangar is going to be. It's just going to be absolutely insane. And that's just with 8-meter blocks. I can't even imagine how big this ship would be if I'd spawned it in with 32-meter blocks. I can't even imagine. It's blown my mind how big this would have been. It would have actually almost been as big as some of the ships that I concepted for my sci-fi story that I'm writing, which I have not actually talked about at all on any of my channels before. And I will one day probably talk about it, but right now I can't because I'm trying to keep it secret. So, anyway, guys, so this is freaking cool. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly show you guys how it works really quick. I gotta get it set up really quick, and then we will do that. So I'm gonna pause the video, and we'll be back in a second. Alright guys, welcome back. So, now we are outside of Starship Evo. Welcome to my desktop. It's not exactly the cleanest thing. No, Matt, don't make fun of me. Anyway, so, the first thing we're going to notice is we have two different things open here. What we're going to do, the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the link provided in the description. You're going to go to that website, or to that GitHub, and you're going to download the zip file. And you're going to unpack the zip file into your folder of choice. I created one on my desktop called Evo Edit. Then you're going to go into the release folder, and you're going to go to test app. You're going to open that up. When I open it up, Windows Defender is going to ask you if you want to open it, because it's going to automatically pop up as being nefarious, but don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't just tell it that it's okay. But I don't know if it was just my computer being stupid, but whatever. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to open it up, and you're going to see this. It might be a little bit different for you depending on when you download it, because I know he's updating it all the time, so it could look a little different. What you're going to do when you want to import a file, you go to File, Import, and then you go to Blueprint. I'm going to go with another blueprint really quick. Then you navigate to your exported folder for StarMade. Now, these StarMade files need to be cemented files, so or cement files, dot cement, so SMENT. So that's the file that StarMade exports to be sent to another StarMade to be imported. So you'll need to go to your export folder, or if you haven't exported the ship yet, then you need to go into your blueprint editor, your blueprint catalog manager, and export the ship that you're wanting to import into the Evo edit. For this example, we're gonna go with shoot, what do I want to go with this time? Let's go with oh heck, we'll go with the micro JJ prize. We're gonna enter that in. All right, so now we got the micro enterprise in there. We're going to make sure it's set to optimize. I'm gonna scale it up just for the funsies, and we're gonna go with, say, we'll go with 2 meters. Make it bigger. Why not? We'll go with 4 meters and see what it looks like, just for the fun of it. This is the micro enterprise. It's a small enterprise, so it's gonna end up being about the same size as the actual enterprise. This would be funny. So we got it optimized. We're not going to ignore paint, and we're not going to ignore slabs because we need those. And then we're just going to go ahead and hit this import button. That's going to send it to our output folder. The first thing you want to do when this opens up is it's going to ask you to set a path. So you're going to create an output folder. Usually what I did is I went ahead and made that output folder in the same folder as here. So now it's here. Now you're going to want to navigate to your Starship Evo blueprints folder. That's usually under local low in your apps. In your app data folder, you're going to go to local low. Then you're going to find Moonfire Entertainment. Go to Starship Evo and go to your save data files and go to your blueprints folder. And then once you get in there, you just take your Sevo file that you got in your output folder and drag and drop that right in there. Once you've got that in there, you should be able to, I don't know, let's spawn it in. All right. And what do you know, guys? What do you know? And it is. Oh, it is. And we're gonna see here. It's 948 meters. This version of the Enterprise is actually bigger than my actual JJ prize that I built in the game, in StarMade, because I scaled it up to 4 meters. So this thing is huge. Oh gosh, it's so funny. And the crazy thing is that because the majority of this ship was built with just regular hull blocks, even the interior of the ship is still here. Like, you got everything here. Only thing that's not here are the subsystem blocks and the only thing that's not here are subsystem blocks and lighting and stuff like that. So it's just crazy. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. Oh, here's where the core would have been. And then here's where the bridge was. That is a massive captain's chair. I gotta see how big this is. That's so funny. Oh gosh. That is a massive captain's chair. So yeah. Basically, anyway, guys, so you get the gist, you get the idea. You can take basically any ship that you've built in StarMade and you can transfer it over into Starship Evo. Now, basically, it's not perfect, obviously, because subsystems don't work and lighting blocks, and basically all you can convert over is the basic hull. But I mean, once you've got your basic hull, I mean, it's not that hard to build it from there. Like, for instance, with this ship, it would not be that hard for me to take this ship, and if I, really wanted to, I could make it not a bad ship. Obviously, I'd probably import my actual JJ prize, the big one that the higher detailed version. I'd probably import that one over instead, just so that I could make it look right. But that, or I would use an actual OBJ file or something like that. But the OBJ files is what's going to make this tool so powerful, because it's going to allow us to do stuff like this over here with OBJs that we've found on the internet and stuff like that. It's going to give people the ability to make very large, very highly detailed ships for very, very quickly and very easily. I mean, technically, this ship here it's not bad. It might be a little clunky looking, and I could definitely do a lot better now. But it's not too bad in the shape it is and stuff. So, I mean, it's still the JJ prize, and you can easily tell what it is. But the coolest part about this is the fact that you can import anything from StarMade into Starship Evo now. So any builds that you've been hanging on to in StarMade that you wanna work on still in StarMade, but you just don't really know if you wanna have to rebuild them in Starship Evo. Well, now you don't have to. At least not entirely, anyway. You still have to do the detail work and transferring it over into Starship Evo design and stuff. Like, for instance, you still have to do the wedging properly, unless you don't mind having this type of wedging going on, and you just decide to keep it as a style. That can always be a thing. You can do much better wedge-wise in Starship Evo than you can in StarMade. Much better. Much better. So yeah, that's just the coolest stuff coming out of Starship Evo right now, guys. So I'm glad you guys, if you guys kept on and all the way to the end of this video, I congratulate you for hanging around for my shenanigans. Hopefully we'll get some more content together, and I'll be able to show some more stuff off pretty soon. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for more Starship Evo videos, more StarMade videos. Thanks for watching the Galactic Grid, and we'll see you guys in the next video. GG!